So we talked about the exchange of tacit knowledge, about safeguarding knowledge, then applying a maintenance register or system, and the fault tree analysis. So it was a very lively first experience. Yeah, some nice work, except for the evening, the first evening. Yeah, and a good way to exchange knowledge. And we have the same conclusion that there should be a facilitator or a host to guide through the topics, and fewer questions, but then more detailed. And the follow-up we discussed was the peer-to-peer review of the fault tree analysis for one of the Hamburg floodgates, which we just did 3 weeks ago with Alexander Bakker in Hamburg. And there's going to be the second peer-to-peer workshop with the same group, I guess, from the first one, but then with focus on the Dutch questions, but meeting in Hamburg. And what we did with Alexander is he provided us, or actually Remco provided the Dutch guidelines regarding this fault tree analysis, because we were struggling with determining probabilities of failure for the gates. So we thought maybe we can try to adapt this Dutch way to our case, and then we started with the simplest fault tree we have. It was already quite struggling because it was all in Dutch, so we did a lot of translating, or tried it. So yeah, just to give you an idea what we did, this is the basic scheme of the fault tree, the simplest fault tree they have. So the failure is the timely closure of the dike opening fails, and then there are 4 different fault trees below that. So the storm surge alert fails, mobilization fails, operation can fail, or technical failure. And basically works like this. It's a little complicated to understand. So this is the one from the Dutch manual, and we tried to apply it to our case. So with the operational, it was pretty easy because it's basically the same bullet points for the dike opening as for the storm surge barriers. Yeah, they can be either human failure or boundary conditions are not okay. And here it has to be one of these points, and that there's no option for correction, and then this will lead to operational failure, which will then lead to the failure of the timely closure. So we translated this and adapted it. And then there are these scored tables, a little hard to read. So we translated them as well. And then the score tables, so the numbers are linked to the certain points in the failure tree. So you have to answer the question, like, is there a procedure for closure? It's always yes or no questions, and then you get a certain score, and with that score, at the end, you determine the failure probability. So that's how this very simple method works, and at the end gives you a probability. So here, I have no idea. I can read it. I think, yeah. I think we differentiated between doing the operation with the own LSPG stuff and with external contractors. It's the other way around. This is LSPG, this is external. And we felt that it didn't really apply to our case, because with external stuff, the probability of failure was 1 in 1 closures. And with the own stuff, it was 1 in 10,000, which is both not that, not really true. But we got some failure probabilities. So this is the other, a little more complex, the technical failure. There's either that the function of asset 1, asset 2, or asset 3 fails, and then that is due to failure of the drive or failure of the asset itself, and then that is further subdivided. So just to give you an idea how this works, and this links to the score table, so you answer all the questions and then get the probability, which is here, I think 1 in 10,000 as well. So What did we learn from that? We understood how this Dutch approach works for the failure probabilities with this simple method. Yeah, and that the quick assessment with the score tables is actually calibrated on a more advanced model. So rather complicated system. It gives you a good overview, but actually doesn't go that much into detail as we would like to go with certain procedures. So Alexander suggested that this event tree method might be more suitable for us, so that you have all the events in the closure of one of the dike openings go from event to event, like first driving to the gate, successful, yes, then you go to the next, not successful, 5-minute delay, then go to the next, because LSPG wants to link the timely delay of closure with the failure probability, and that is not possible with this simple fault tree analysis, but yeah, it might be easier to do it in this event tree way. So we will try to further assess that and develop this event tree analysis, and then maybe meet with Alexander again and talk about it again.
I think we can take some time to revive the plans we had in terms of peer-to-peer learning, because I think you experienced that it could be very beneficial, because in FAIR projects we want to improve on asset management, and I think at least by this peer-to-peer learning you can focus on the same I would say aspect of asset management that you want to improve on, and by learning from the other who's maybe has done it more often, is more mature, let's say, I think you can accelerate your own learning, and the benefit is both ways. But so there could be really an advantage, I think. We had already developed some ideas, maybe some more concrete than others. So I think suggest to take maybe 20 minutes to follow up on those ideas. Yeah, but I first want to do an inventory of which ideas are still alive, and yeah, because I can say what we had, this learning between the Netherlands and Germany has been picked up.